What's up, space pirates? This is your captain, the absolutely animated Dr. Disaster, and things just keep getting worse for the Acolyte. The audience score for this thing is completely tanking, as it has now become the worst rated Star Wars content on Rotten Tomatoes.
That is one big pile of shit.
The funny thing about what's happening is that we warned them for years about this. We, as a fan base, have told the idiots at Lucasfilm this would happen. We told them that a woke, queer Acolyte show was going to be an absolute flop. Hell, we warned them again these past few months. Every time they put out a trailer for this thing, it got ratioed to hell. We tried to warn them, but Disney refused to listen to the fans, and now they are paying the price.
Jesus Christ! I warned you, but did you listen to me? Oh, no, you knew it all, didn't you?
Alright, me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, don't forget to follow me over on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. But anyhow, let's look at where we are at with The Acolyte now being the worst rated Star Wars material on Rotten Tomatoes. The previous second place holder was The Last Jedi. As you can see, the critics loved it, giving the thing a 91% as they ran cover for their corporate overlords at Disney. But nobody gives a shit what the critics think, because they are bought and paid for. What's important is the audience hated it, and it scored a 41% with fans. And then look at the previous record holder for the dubious honor of most hated Star Wars content. We've got the 2008 movie The Clone Wars, which sits at a 40% audience score. You'll notice that back then, before Disney took over, the critics were more aligned with fans, because they scored it even lower, putting the movie at 19%. But as of the time of this recording, The Acolyte sits at a putrid 33%.
Holy crap!
As you can see, the critics have raised their score. Looks like Disney must have lit the beacons, and the critics have swooped in to white knight for their corporate masters, but the audience just ain't having this shit at all. We are at 33. And there are a couple of things rattling around in my mind as we look at that number. First of all, how many people just don't give a shit anymore? How many ex-Star Wars fans who would give this thing a negative rating just aren't paying attention at all any longer? The number could be much, much lower if not for the franchise-killing apathy that Lucasfilm has cultivated. But second of all, I can't help but think of the tweets we covered from Alan Ng of Film Threat the other day. As a critic, he was given early access to the first 4 episodes of the show, and he said this: "Some of you will watch the first 2 episodes and think this isn't horrible. Then that 3rd episode the following week will reassure you that it is." And then he also tweeted, "The 3rd episode of The Acolyte will finally kill Star Wars for the vast majority of pre-Disney Star Wars fans."
Hold on to your butts.
Yeah, things are gonna get rocky for this show. If the first 2 episodes are the best that The Acolyte has to offer, and the show just drops off a cliff in the 3rd episode, then this 33 Rotten Tomatoes score may well plummet much further, much like Disney stock has for the past day. Now, it's possible that this isn't related to The Acolyte's release, but the timing is at least interesting. Disney stock took a 2% swan dive right as the market opened yesterday, going from $102.92 all the way down to $101.04 at its low point. That might not sound like much, but in the stock market world, 2% can be kind of a big deal. And I have to wonder if those people who ditched the Disney stock, if those weren't people who watched The Acolyte on its opening night and then put in sell orders when they saw how shitty the show was. The stock is threatening now to dip below $100, though in fairness, the company's stock has been dwindling for the past month and losing all its gains made earlier this year. Now, it's hard to say for sure if The Acolyte was a factor here, but what isn't hard to say is how much the audience despises the Disney-fied version of Star Wars. The woke Disney defenders out there had 1,000,001 excuses for why the Acolyte trailers were all getting ratioed into oblivion, and I'm sure they'll invent some more excuses for why the show is being crushed by the audience on Rotten Tomatoes now. There's just no getting through to these people. But I'm going to leave it there. What do you make of the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes? Do you think it bounces back now and lets the Clone Wars retake its position as most hated Star Wars content, or do you think The Acolyte will fall even further down? Let me know what you think in the comments, and we will talk there.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.